In Hell's Kitchen, New York City, you will find funky cheese-focused restaurant Casellula. I sat down with in-house fromager Dimitri Saad for a private tasting and bit of cheese chat. How much fun is your job?
It is definitely the best job I've ever had. And I've had a few different careers leading up to this job. I haven't been in cheese my whole life. It's actually just been recently, in the last couple of years, that I've really decided to pursue any kind of career in cheese, and I was lucky enough to land here early on. And it is a fantastic job to be able to just focus 100% on cheese in a restaurant environment. I don't think that's very common. So it's really a really enjoyable job. I started just about 2 years ago, just volunteering in the classroom at Murray's.
Okay, yeah.
And I met a lot of really great people there who were very encouraging. And I wasn't really necessarily seriously considering it as a career option. Things kind of fell into place at the right time for me. And I do cheese service like this 3 nights a week, but then the rest of the time, it's my job to, buy cheese, to reach out to people, to train the staff here and not elsewhere. Here we have a more informal training system because there is a fromager on the floor. So the staff always have access to someone who knows about the cheese. So this is pretty much the cheese case setup. The way I have it organized is washed rinds up here, fresh and bloomy rinded cheeses. Here we have pressed, cooked or uncooked cheeses, and then the blues on the plate here. So that's generally how we divide it in the case. So did you try this cheese? This is the Harbison. So it might still be a little cold now, but it's generally very oozy and gooey. So I usually put it into a spoon. That way you can get, a nice serving without it running all over the plate and mixing with the other cheeses. Have you tried this one as well, the Emotional?
No, I haven't.
It's from Lazy Lady Farm in Vermont. All our cheeses have pretty entertaining names. This one's called Emotional, but a lot of them have political themes as well. It actually has one called Biden His Time for Biden, and Barack Obama. It's a brick-shaped cheese. I try to mix the milks, where the cheeses are from, and then also think about the condiment pairings that come with it. So I don't want to have too many of the same texture, or have them all be sweet or all savory. I try to mix that up. So here we have, these 3 are American. We have goat, cow, and then a mix of cow and goat. So next I would probably look for a sheep, or maybe even, because we also have a water buffalo milk cheese, but it would be Italian, and then have another Italian for a blue. So I think I'll go with Berkswell from England.
Yeah, sure.
This will also allow me to use one of my favorite pairings, which is a local mustard, whole grain mustard that made here in Brooklyn. So this is, I don't know, have you had any of the Marcelli Formaggi cheeses? They're Italian cheeses. And this is actually a blue cheese, even though there are no blue veins, and that's because it was inoculated with a blue mold, but never pierced. And it doesn't have any natural cracks that would allow the oxygen required for the blue mold to bloom. So sometimes if you do leave it out, you'll get a little bit of bluing on the edge, but generally it's on the menu we have it described as an albino blue. So it's a blue that doesn't have any blue. So we start here on the left with Meridian from Rainbow Ridge Farm, which is in New York. And we've paired it with the passion fruit curd. And I find that the passion fruit, kind of the sweetness of it goes really well with kind of the bright, tart tanginess of the goat cheese. And the textures also go well together. So this is a pink peppercorn pineapple.
Yum.
And the pink peppercorn, I think, keeps this condiment from being too sweet. Torrone flavored white chocolate fudge, but we also have these white chocolate covered gooseberries. That'll go well with it. So we have a lot of sweet here. So next I'd go with something more savory. My Friend's mustard. It's a whole grain beer mustard made in Brooklyn by Anna Wolf. She uses 6-point beers in her mustards. Really good whole grain mustard. I'll just put a little dob of that right there. This is a thyme honey. I'll just put that on with an orange fennel chip.
Beautiful.
So that would be an average plate that we put together, part of the idea of the presentation here at Casellula. Inspired, I believe, in part by the way that sushi is presented in a Japanese restaurant. That's these are the rectangular plates, the portions, and then the way that the accoutrement, the accompaniments, the pairings are displayed and decorated as well. With any pairing that you do, whether it's with food pairings, wine pairings, beer pairings, what you're really shooting for is to create a third flavor. You don't just want the flavors to complement each other, but you want to create a third new flavor. That's really what we're aiming for. I don't know if you've seen the animated movie Ratatouille, but he kind of explains that at one point where you try two different things and you get one color in your head with one and another in the other, and then when you put them together, you get a third color. And that's really, that's the ideal. Like I said, it doesn't always happen, but when it does, it's something really special.
Dimitri, thanks so much. That was really interesting to try so many new flavours with the cheeses, and particularly some of these condiments that we've tried today have really highlighted some of the nuances in cheese that I think are often lost when people might just pair it with, say, standard quince paste or something like that. So it's been a real eye-opener, a real taste bud opener. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you here.
That would make a great sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
butter.
Yeah.
Mustard, beer, cheese.
Exactly.
It's got everything going on there.
Yeah, so you kind of get a whole experience with just two ingredients, really.